questions for our coaches. Start with Justin.
Good to see you, Greg. Tell us about this Bill Walsh fellowship diversity program that you were with or part of.
No, it was a great opportunity. Coach Brent Brennan, came to me, I want to say during the spring, and asked me if I ever wanted to have a chance to work with the NFL, and it was one of those cool opportunities. Like, heck yeah, let's do this. And so he gave me an opportunity to talk to, I think, a coach Les Need out that way, and had a hell of an opportunity to go out there and work with him for 10 days. Got to be with Ryan Wendell, who's the offensive line coach, Zach Cromer, who's the assistant O-line coach, and it was just one of those cool experiences to see, a top-notch program on a team that went to Super Bowl, that knows how to win, that's just kind of be a sponge and have an opportunity to coach with one of the best in the world, you know what I mean? So it was a really cool opportunity. So
learning from a guy like Sean McVay, being around him and that staff and that culture, what was the biggest surprise or the biggest thing that you took away from that?
Yeah, I think it's, maybe not giving away their sauce, but the connectivity they have within their team. Not with just the staff, but the players, how he brings that still, where it's still a professional team, but just the way the relationships are built, how he builds that relationships, telling people stories, how people get a little bit closer. I think that's where that sauce comes, where they can win those close games.
Michael?
Quinn, you were under Coach Dakey at Bowling Green, is that right?
Yep.
Is that kind of how this happened, that relationship that you formed with him?
Yeah, definitely. I first met Coach Dagey when I was a player at Bowling Green. That was his first job when he got done playing. And he was working with the receivers, which is what I played. And so that's where we first connected. And even as a young player, you could kind of tell that he was going to have a bright future in his career. And so once I got done playing, we just stayed in touch, and I'm fortunate enough to have the opportunity to work for him now.
And you ventured over to the other side of the ball subsequently. Is offense where you kind of feel like you belong long term?
Yeah, I always loved offense because that's what I played. I just happened to get an opportunity on the other side of the ball, and I knew it would be good for me. But I always kind of had the intentions that I'd like to get back to the offensive side. So I think it's just one of those things. God works in mysterious ways, and was on the defense side of the ball for 4 or 5 years, and now getting back with Coach Dagey, I'm able to coach on offense again. So.
Justin?
For Quinn, so you said Coach Dagey showed signs of having a bright future. What were some of the early signs that he showed you?
The thing about Coach Dagey is he's one of the most competitive people I know. He's one of the hardest workers I know. And he always kind of had a standard for us, even when I was playing, that's carried on to him as offense coordinator now today. So I think it was just those things, even from a young age, that you could tell in him, like, that he was going to be successful in his future.
And how has it been for you to see him work with Noah? And what stands out to you about that connection?
It's been really cool because obviously Coach Dagey played the position. And so being able to work with Noah, who's an experienced guy, and even Braden, who's another experienced guy, I think they respond really well to the way he teaches because he's seen the game through their lens. So it's been fun to watch them work together, and just even sitting in their meetings, the way they talk about the game has been cool.
Go back.
Greg, you played and coached at Southern Oregon?
Yes, sir.
And that was the last place that you worked before coming here?
Yeah, so I went back there in 23, but I played there back in 08 was my last year. My last year was 07 and started coaching in 08.
Was it a difficult decision to leave there?
No, I mean, when I went back in 23, it was just a way I was just kind of doing my Northwest tours of coaching. And I went back because my good friend became the head coach, and it was a way to get back to, just get back to home. And when I got the phone call from Coach Brendan, I was always a big fan of the way he coaches. It was one of those things where it was a job I could not say no to, and it was not because of, yes, trust me, the Big 12 was awesome and everything else, but I just knew it was an opportunity of a lifetime to work with Coach Brent Brennan. Just the way he coaches our kids, the way he operates, it just aligns with my vision, the way I like to coach kids too as well. So.
Justin? Hey, Greg, where are you from originally?
I'm originally from Vancouver, Washington, not Canada, but Washington. So we're just right over the border of Oregon. Yeah, it's a big suburb of Portland.
How did you fall in love with the game of football? What led you down this path?
Oh man, so I played linebacker in high school, and I always tell Coach Quinn this. I went to junior college right out of high school. I was a linebacker, went to Southern, transferred there, And then I was playing Mike linebacker, and I found out I couldn't carry 3 vertical. Everybody knows what I mean by carry 3 vertical. I wasn't fast enough to run backwards. And so they moved me to fullback. And so I was essentially a glorified pulling guard, you know what I mean, in the offense I was in. And just always loved it. I mean, I think to me, the game of football, I always say it saved my life. It's given me a hell of an opportunity to be all over the country, to be right here and talking with every single one of you guys in this room. And no, I loved it. You know, I mean, I just love the game aspect of it, of course, from the X and O's, but just being with the kids, I think that's the most important thing, you know.
Being at the Power 4 level, the connection that you have with the NFL, working with the Rams, what's the end goal for you?
You know, I would love, to me, honestly, I just want to do a great job right now with Coach Brent Brennan and Coach Josh Oglesby, but ultimately have my own room. I'd love to coach the O-line. You know, it was a dream and aspiration at one time to be a head coach, but I just love being with those guys in the O-line. Like, I just see myself being an NFL coach down the road, or even at the Power 4 level, and owning my own room and coaching the O-line.
For both of you guys, you know, playing at smaller schools, coaching at smaller schools, and then coming to, you know, a power program like this, what are some of the lessons that you learned along the way that maybe make you better coaches, or that you can maybe impart on some of the players that you're dealing with from those experiences?
I would say being at the lower levels, it's cool because like those guys are there solely because they love football. There's no money involved or anything like that. They're just there because they love to play the game. And so like the joy that they have showing up every day to play and getting to coach those guys, I think was very rewarding. And you also learn like when you play or coach at smaller levels, like you have a lot of jobs. So you really you're doing whatever needs done. And so you try to carry that with you, you know, as you work up to higher levels.
Yeah, I would say the same thing. I think it's I still think the kids still love the football, love getting the game of football still here at this level. But I think the biggest thing was for me as a young coach that I did paint fields. You know, I mean, that was part of my GA life. I did the 2 years of a GA. You know, I got coffee. I did all those things. You know, I remember painting fields for camps and then traveling to camps and picking up recruits, all those good things. So I just learned, I mean, doing video. And I learned all these things. And when I get up here, there's people that have those jobs and now a coaching job, you know what I mean? The cool thing, I guess, here is you get to be a coach. You know, so that's the biggest difference.
Jason and Justin.
For Quinn, seeing Coach D kind of go up the ranks, and what's the biggest thing you've taken away, whether it's advice that he's given you or just the way he's kind of moved up to the profession?
Yeah, the biggest thing for me is just watching him work every day. Like, he's the first one in here, he's the last one to leave. There's no stone left unturned with him. He's always going to make sure that we're prepared to be successful as an offense. So I would say probably that, and he's also accountable to the group. He's not afraid to tell the group if he messes up, which I think everyone appreciates because we all make mistakes. So those are a couple things I appreciate about him and that I've learned from him along the way.
And then, Greg, you were the running backs last season, right?
Yes, sir.
So you mentioned you're an O-line guy. What was last year like for you in terms of what you were able to learn and not just the whole experience?
Yeah, you know, when I first started coaching, I was a running back coach, so it was one of those things where I loved the position. My passion is the O-line world, of course, but my heart is still with those running backs, so I get a chance to still, you know, talk to Ked and Q and Ish. Like, those guys are still great, you know, and no, it was awesome. It was awesome last year to kind of be with honestly be with Alonzo Carter, be in that room with him and get to coach those guys, you know what I mean? And it was a special group with those guys, so it was fun last year.
Our last two will be Justin and Mike.
Greg, your passion for coaching O-line, is that a new development, or has that always been something?
No, I just, you know, when I was kind of coming up in the ranks, I just, you know, I was always involved in the protection world and the run game world, being a running back coach. And I just felt like, hey, it was a next step for me. You know, if I wanted to get in a position of leadership, if I wanted to get in the coordinator, like, I think I needed to make that next step into coaching the O-line. So I had those dreams and aspirations of calling plays. And I wasn't going to coach the quarterbacks. Nothing against not coaching the quarterbacks. I'm just not a quarterback guy, you know. Like, I need to get in the dirt with those guys, get on my knees and all the good things, you know. So it's like one of those things where I felt like if I could be a dang good O-line coach, I'll have an opportunity anywhere, you know. So that's why my passion was towards that all the time. So.
Yeah, question for both of you guys. If you were not coaching, what do you think you'd be doing for a career?
Man, that's hard to say. Yeah, it's really hard to say. I mean, I just really enjoy working with kids and trying to be a great teacher and build those relationships. So I don't know, maybe a teacher or something along those lines, maybe coach high school or something. But I just, I always see myself coaching football.
What about you, Greg?
Yeah, I have no idea. I mean, this is what I love to do. I love waking up in the morning, working out. Get to see this guy every single day in the alleyway. With the guys that I love, the guys that want to go to work, the guys that want to go to war. Like that's the sauce. You know what I mean? Being around the young guys, still feeling young. I mean, I'm 41. I feel like I'm 26 still. Can't run like him no more. But that's what I love about the game. I love being in a room with good quality people, and there's one common goal. That common goal is to win. Just striving for success. So.
We'll finish up with Michael.
You guys are both coaching on the offensive side of the ball. When there's a practice like tonight, when there's a bunch of interceptions and the defense is really getting after it, what kind of conversations are going on between you and the players, or maybe when the offensive coaches reconvene later to go over what happened?
Yeah, I mean, it's a process when you're trying to build an offense, and it's honestly like the standard that Coach Daigie sets is super high, so it's hard for us to meet that standard. But when the defense makes good plays, you got a good team too. So you don't want it to be one-sided during practice all the time. So, we'll go watch it and make corrections and just keep getting better.
I mean, when you're playing a team like that, defensively, attacking, swarming defense, that game tackle makes big play. It makes it hard. But I think the biggest thing for us is, that daily struggle. So when we do have those opportunities, that we are trained in these moments. How do we respond back into these moments? How do we get ourselves back in the red line? It's a very important. We just can't win those drills every single day because you're building a team. You need a damn good offense. You need a damn good defense and special teams. All three need to work. So I think, again, like those wins, like we'll take them and we'll earn them. These defensive guys, like, great job. Maybe we'll move on. We'll learn from those mistakes because, again, I know you said this one time failed, right? First attempt at learning. So we're going to have to make sure we learn from these mistakes and we got to get better from it. It's a way for us to respond. So.
Awesome. Thank you, everybody.
Cool, thank you.
Appreciate you guys.
Thank you, guys.